Libraries are typically not at the top of the list when community leaders and policymakers talk about solutions to problems. And that's due in part to the way libraries have been telling their story, or not telling their story. There are lots of misperceptions about what libraries do. People know we check books in and out, and we do story time programs for children that are sweet. But for a lot of folks, I think that's the extent of it, and it's really our hope to change that. We want to give people a fuller appreciation for the work that we do and for the role of a public library in a community. We really want you to come away with an understanding of the promise that a public library represents in a community. It's an opportunity to bridge divides, and an opportunity to reduce some of our most pressing social problems. They rely on their libraries. A lot of people don't know what libraries do at our core. A lot of times in cities and communities, the infrastructure that the government thinks of or the community thinks of is the streets and the roads and the pipes and the schools. And libraries sort of fall to the bottom of the list because we're more a piece of social infrastructure. We're sort of the invisible services and places and spaces that undergird community life and help people develop social relationships and build genuine community. We know that sustained interaction between people who are different from one another, who don't live in the same neighborhoods, when they can come together in a place repeatedly, that's how community relationships are built. People have to come together outside of the silos that they live in, and that's really a role that the public library plays. So we know that those conditions build community, and we also know what conditions lead to people being isolated. So when you think about the last time you visited a public library, hopefully it was recent, it's very different from other places that you visit. When you visit a retail shop or a coffee shop, you're expected to buy something in order to be there. Or you may be expected to dress a particular way, present a particular way. And when you visit a public library, that doesn't happen. Everyone walks in the door on the same footing, no matter how they present. Money doesn't exchange hands, and we don't have any expectations of you. Part of the work that we do is just in the service of people. So we're not just about books. Books are a big part of it. Books aren't going anywhere. Books are an incredible tool and an essential human right, literacy and reading. But also people's dignity is important. And it is important for people, no matter where they are in life, to experience dignity and to be treated as though they belong and treated as though they matter and that they have potential. And so really we are in the business of serving our community, meeting people where they are, and helping them improve their lives. The difference between the public library and other agencies and institutions is that we won't tell you how to do that. We trust that everyone has the best interests in themselves and their children, and they know what they need, and we want to help them reach their fullest potential, whatever that looks like. At this place and time, 2020, global pandemic, lots of major issues for our nation and our world. We've got climate change and a rapidly aging population and massive income inequality and systemic racism. And we're in this moment in time where this nation feels extremely fragmented, we're divided, and any kind of social order feels really precious. We are all asking, I think, in our daily lives, how can we rebuild a civil society? How can we bridge the gap where people are speaking to each other and thinking deeply and tackling issues and challenges collaboratively? And we think the library can serve that role. we are this neutral ground in the community, and we are respected by and large. 90% of people polled say they respect the library. They still trust the library. Public trust in government and corporations and different entities has really fallen, but people still trust the library. And we believe that we can be a platform for all sorts of opportunities for civic engagement. So our core role is to serve people. We want to help people elevate themselves and improve their lives however we can. So a public library in a community is potentially the best opportunity to advance those sort of overwhelming ideals.